Hi, I'm Dolly Simonovich, and welcome to Senior Moments. Today's guest is Dr. Jorge Aranabar. He's a doctor of chiropractic care. Dr. Aranabar, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you, and we need some information about chiropractic care.
Wonderful.
As you know, not everybody gets to go to a chiropractor, and we just need some good old-fashioned information.
Great.
So can you define chiropractic medicine for us?
Chiropractic care is the art, philosophy, and science of moving the bones of the spine in order to take pressure off the nerves that come out of the spine.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, we're able to allow the body to function optimally so it can heal itself.
Can you tell us a little bit about what the adjustments are?
Sure. So what I focus on when I'm doing a chiropractic adjustment on a patient is moving the bones in their spine or anywhere else in their skeleton in order to promote proper movement, which I believe takes pressure off your nervous system, and it also stimulates the brain in a specific way in order to release chemicals into the body that actually help the body heal itself. And the adjustments are designed to promote and prevent a lot of different injuries from occurring in the future.
Are all the adjustments the same for everybody?
No, they're not. Some patients, we utilize our hands to adjust their spines, their skeletons. Others, we use tools to adjust
What kind of
the same
tools?
areas. We have different tools, whether it be our activator. There's an activator tool. We have another impulse adjusting tool. We have different massage tools that we can use also. And it just depending on the age of the person, their health, their ability to receive an aggressive or a light adjustment. We base all these factors in determining what the best form of care for them would be. And that's all based on their examination that we do initially when we first meet them. When I get to know them, I have a pretty good sense of what they can and can't take.
What is subluxation?
Subluxation is a term that the chiropractic profession uses in order to describe when a bone loses its ability to move normally. It's when a bone gets stuck, in other words. The bone is not moving properly. As a result, it creates inflammation around the bone, which puts pressure on the nerves that come out of that segment of the spine.
So it doesn't just put pressure on the nerves, it puts pressure on all the muscles that are holding it, the tendons, the ligaments,
joints,
one So
yes,
it's not
the muscles
just
around the area.
it's not just one thing, it affects everything.
Yes.
And the muscles aren't just in this one little place either. The muscles go on.
You have several different muscles that attach to the spine, that attach the bones of the spine together. Very small muscles, and as a result of this subluxation of the spine, when a bone gets basically stuck out of place, it creates a lot of inflammation in these areas, swelling, and that swelling is what pinches the nerves coming out of those areas. And nerves, they actually make your muscles function properly. So if there's a pinched nerve, you're going to have a pain in the muscle. But what a lot of people don't realize is these same nerves, they also make your organs work properly. So if a patient comes in with low back pain, there's nerves that come out of that area that can innervate the intestines. So oftentimes patients who come in with low back conditions can also have conditions such as constipation, diarrhea. They also suffer things like heartburn, things like that. And a lot of what I recommend to patients like that is let's get the spine to move, let's get the nervous system working optimally. As a result, those symptoms oftentimes do go away.
So if you went to a medical doctor, they'd say, they'd give you a pill. They'd
Yes.
say, oh, this isn't working properly,
Yes.
so they'll give you a pill for it.
Right.
And what you would do instead is say, well, let's see if we can get this working and get everything straightened out. And you'd check to see if they were straight. And how many people are straight when they walk in?
It's rare. It's rare that you see a patient with a healthy spine, because typically...
But they wouldn't come to you if they were constipated. They'd think that they have to go to a doctor.
Initially, no, they wouldn't. And that's where I think the beauty of what the chiropractic profession is doing now. We offer a conservative alternative to healthcare. And I'm not going to tell you that 100% of the time a patient comes in with, digestive issues, they're going to get better. But I'll tell you this, that if the nerves that are coming out of your spine that innervate those intestines, if we get those nerves working better, you have a way better chance of the digestive problems going away. And that goes for other things you wouldn't expect, such as headaches.
Migraines?
Migraines.
That could be, migraines could be caused by?
Pressure on your nervous system.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
In the neck, usually?
In the neck, in the jaw, if your rib cage isn't functioning properly.
Oh, so you would do the jaws, too. It's not just, I mean, we're looking at this spinal cord here, but would you adjust jaws and, and arms and
arms,
feet?
Ankles, knees, wrists, fingers, everything. And my opinion is if we get everything moving properly, your body should heal itself.
Who would come to a chiropractor?
We see all ages of patients. We see children, infants, as early as a few months old, a few days old. My one-year-old son, the second day of life, I adjusted his spine. We see patients all the way up into their elderly years. I've had a patient, the oldest patient I believe I had was in their late 80s.
Well, does anybody have to worry about it? I mean, being adjusted, do they get hurt, or I mean, is the adjustment wrenching, or is it mild, or?
Every patient's treatment is based on a thorough examination that I do initially. What I do is I examine their nervous system, their spine, and their muscles to determine what kind of treatment is most appropriate for their body types. From that, I'm able to decide if they need a more aggressive adjustment or a little lighter adjustment. I can utilize my hands to adjust a patient, or I can use a specialized tool, which I oftentimes use on the infants that I treat as well as the elderly patients that I treat who might be suffering from things like osteoporosis, osteopenia, things like that.
So chiropractic care can help that?
Well, I got to be careful as far as what I say chiropractic can help, because there's certain things that we can help a patient with, such as certain pains, certain ailments, but when it comes to things like infection, viruses, broken bones, for instance, that's out of our scope of practice.
Right. So then you would send them to
a medical doctor, yes.
Yes. What kind of education do you have as a chiropractor?
Well, there's different routes to becoming a chiropractor. I took the route of having a 4-year college degree from the University of San Francisco, and then from there I transitioned to a chiropractic school where I spent another about 4 years to grab my Doctor of Chiropractic degree. There are, I know, last I heard, this is I'm about 12 years removed from school, but last I heard about the way to get into chiropractic school, you have to have specific requirements on education in order to enter the school. I believe it's the equivalent of about 2 years of college.
Oh, it is?
At least, yeah. I went through the 4 years, but the requirements to get into the chiropractic school back then, I believe, were only about 2 years of a college degree.
Do you have to do a residency like medical doctors do?
We did have to do a preceptorship as part of our curriculum, so we had to spend about 3 to 6 months in an office with under the supervision of a licensed chiropractor in order to proceed forward in our education.
So you have extensive training, so that would allay anybody's fears about, am I just going to this guy?
We have a lot, to be honest. As me personally, the whole curriculum that I went through began even before I was in college, before I went to college. I was very active in sports, and I actually worked for a physical therapist before I even became a college student. So as a result, I was always into the natural healing arts as far as the way the body heals itself.
You were drawn into it.
And then most chiropractors are like that also. Patient, a lot of chiropractors are very successful, always teach that chiropractic care, the profession of chiropractic usually chooses the person, and that's usually how it goes.
I understand there's different types of chiropractors. Is that correct?
Yes, there are definitely. I think a lot of the differences between chiropractors in general is the fact that some of us have different philosophies on how to treat a patient as far as the treatment plan, what kind of treatments you utilize, and others have different techniques that they use also in order to treat specific conditions. And I think that's where we differ the most. And in my opinion, all the different techniques, all the philosophies, they all work because they're focused on the patient's body healing itself.
Well, I think that's so important. I don't know how you can heal if something's askewed.
Yes.
Now, are you accepted as a chiropractic doctor as far as Western medicine is concerned?
Yes, actually, we're seeing a lot of medical doctors now referring patients to our office, and for a variety of symptoms also, whether it be shoulder complaints, headaches, carpal tunnel syndrome, knee pain, ankle pain, I mean, you name it. We get a lot of different referrals from medical doctors. And also what I've noticed, the past, I'd say 5 years or so, insurance companies are actually starting to jump on board, and more are starting to cover the treatments that we provide. So it does seem like there's a lot of acceptance as opposed to when the profession began, some 100 years ago.
It's been 100 years?
At least, yes, a lot longer than that.
I remember becoming aware of it, and no one really went to a chiropractor. And then finally, I went to one, and I thought, oh, hey, this is really nice to be able to walk straight. And I go to the senior center all the time, and I'll see these seniors, one shoulder higher than the other one, one hip higher than the other one, and I think, now, those people, would they benefit from your care, or is that something so ingrained in them that it can't be fixed?
My opinion is everybody should see a chiropractor, and the truth of the matter is less than 5% of the population see a chiropractor. So that's why, I appreciate these opportunities, because I'm able to get out and kind of explain what it is we do and put, I guess set aside the myths of, going to a chiropractor and possibly getting injured or things like that. And to answer your question, yes, I could help patients who have bad postures like that. And it's best to treat a patient from when they're young so that we could avoid these issues in the future. But if I was to get an elderly patient that comes in with, a posture issue, it definitely could have focused on trying to get their spine to work better, to prevent future problems, and also to help the problems they have right now.
Okay, well, let's leave it there for a minute. We'll be right back.
So you can't save money? That's easy as pie. Brown bag your lunch instead of going out. $6 save times 5 days a week times 10 years is $21,000. That's a lot of lettuce. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feedthepig.org.
Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant! The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Calls me googly eyes.
You know you're beautiful, right? You know that?
Even you are beautiful. I got bullied for wearing glasses. Share if you're against bullying.
We put it out there, just took off. 3 million people have shared this post. Don't let bullies get you down. I stand with you. The whole family's wearing glasses. I wear glasses and I'm proud.
I even have the army on my team.
All the kind comments brought my child joy. I don't feel thank you is enough.
Thanks.
they got quite a few good channels on it, and we enjoy watching all the different kind of movies and what you guys have.
It's local. When I need help, I actually talk with people.
They said we'd be out in a day or so, and they were there.
We call them up, and somebody comes out to the house and takes care of our issues right away.
No contract you have to sign. Keep up the good work.
Thank you for choosing San Bruno Cable.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Hello, I'm back with Dr. Jorge Aranabar, Doctor of Chiropractic Care. He said, don't say medicine, say care. So, why do most people come to you?
A lot of patients come in because of pain.
Mm-hmm.
That's the driving force that bring most people in. And what I feel a big part of my job is to educate them on where the pain is coming from, why it's happening, and how we're going to get rid of the problem. And then also, I try to educate them on how their body is a self-healing mechanism that can actually heal itself, not just of the pain, but of these other symptoms that they may be experiencing, whether it be insomnia, fatigue.
All of this could be from maladjustment?
All of this could be due to the spine not moving properly. As a result, putting pressure on the way your nervous system works. And if we get your nervous system functioning optimally, there's no reason why your body shouldn't be able to heal itself.
So once they're adjusted, do they stay adjusted, or do you have to kind of work into it gently?
What I always recommend to patients initially when they come in, depending on their body types, depending on their health history, I always recommend we start off with an initial amount of visits in order to decrease the pain that they're experiencing. That's the first thing. Once we get the pain under control, then we can start going to more of a maintenance kind of program where we keep the spine moving optimally in order to prevent injuries and diseases in the future. And that's really what chiropractic care is, in my opinion, designed to do, is to prevent a lot of things from occurring, continue a patient's health, optimize their health as it is right now.
When something in your body goes crooked, doesn't your body adjust to it? You know, so that one hip goes higher, so then the other, everything adjusts, so then they can walk straight. Their head can be straight, and the rest of their body can be all crooked.
Right.
And it seems to me that once something goes crooked, then everything adjusts to the crookedness, and then it feels normal.
That's exactly what happens, but the problem is if one portion of your spine is stuck, what happens is a different portion above and below also becomes stuck in order to adjust to the problem. So as a result, you have these different areas that are just not moving properly. Those are the areas that become degenerative. You develop arthritis in those areas. That's what ultimately causes more pain in the future and could cause certain diseases to develop as a result of these areas being locked up and the body adjusting to these injured areas.
Now, arthritis, isn't that that's an inflammation, right?
Arthritis is inflammation.
Inflammation. What's that caused by?
In my opinion, physical, chemical, and emotional stress causes, yes, physical, chemical, emotional stress causes the spine to lose its ability to move properly. And over time, as things stop moving properly, they begin to degenerate. And that's another way of saying arthritis begins to form.
So it's not something that happens just right now. It's years and years and years of not being straight, of not being taken care of, and then it starts small inflammation, then it gets worse and worse and worse, and you're still not taking care of it, and it can still be helped.
Yes, it's years and years and years of basically not eating the right foods, exercising properly, getting enough rest, not taking care of your spine, not taking care of the muscles in your body, the nerves in your body. And yes, by getting adjusted, definitely we can help to get things back on track.
Dr. Aranabar is my doctor. And it seems like after something's adjusted, I leave and I'm fine, and then all of a sudden something else is out. And we were talking about, I thought, no, why does something else hurt? And he says, well, I brought my car in the other day for a $20 oil change, cost me $1,200. And he says, something like that works on the neck. How'd you say it? It works on the neck.
If you were to have an unexpected bill, for instance, you weren't expecting it, so as a result, your muscles, your upper back muscles, they tense up. All of a sudden, that puts pressure on the spine, making the neck not work properly. So then all of a sudden, you get a pinched nerve. That pinched nerve can affect your shoulder, your elbow, your hand. So that's just an example of how something like, an emotional stress can cause issues with the body.
Do you suggest different exercises for people?
Yes, in the time that I have with the patient in my office, once they start feeling better, once I notice that the spine is beginning to stabilize, and once I feel that they're strong enough to do specific stretches and exercises, I will go over a few with them in order to prevent a lot of things from happening to them in the future as well. And what that does is it allows me to put more time between our visits if they're doing these stretches, exercises at home, as well as other things that I recommend, whether it be nutrition or getting more rest or doing some cardiovascular activity, things like that. I always try to set goals with the patients that I meet, and most patients, they want to just be able to continue their daily activities of living, whether it be lifting their child or being able to go to work or gardening. So one of my main goals with all these patients is, let's try to get you better so you can continue to do these things or get back to doing these things. Because a lot of people come in here because they no longer can do something they used to be able to do. So what I try to do is focus on what can I do to help them get back to this, this activity that they loved doing before.
Yes. So for our seniors, this is Senior Moments.
Yes.
So they're the ones you're speaking to when you say maintain.
Yes.
Once you haven't maintained it, it's harder and harder to get it back, isn't it?
It sure is. Yes. Much like a car that you don't take care of. For instance, if you let that car sit in the driveway, what happens to it? It'll rust. It'll stop running. Much like a body, if you don't keep the body moving, then it too degenerates and it stops working properly. You become sedentary. And so what I recommend is keep the body moving, keep the spine moving. That's my job, is to keep the spine moving.
Yes.
And then I can show you different ways of keeping your body moving also.
How about posture? What can you tell people about posture?
It's kind of a complex thing because people have different opinions on what posture is. Like, for instance, a lot of people think, I stand straight all the time, I have great posture. Well, it's not necessarily about standing straight, it's about how things are moving. So for instance, you may have your pelvis, it's a bone in your spine, that might be stuck in one position. So as a result, it makes your body misaligned. And that's something that a trained eye can pick up, but a person wouldn't be able to see. Basically, you wouldn't think that you had bad posture, but a trained professional, a chiropractor, or a physical therapist, or even a massage therapist, they could tell you, okay, this is not moving properly, it's affecting your posture. So even subtle things can give you bad posture. So in my opinion, a lot of people should get that checked. And chiropractors are really good at determining how well your posture really is.
I had a chiropractor years and years ago, and she used to call the sofa an ouch. Instead of a couch, it was an ouch.
Right.
Do you recommend that people always sit and maintain good postures in a seat? stay away from the sofa? What do you recommend with
I think
that?
comfort is key. And I think that you need to be comfortable in whatever lounging position you're in.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously better to have more support when you are in relaxation mode, but I don't think a couch is really something that you have to worry so much about. I think it's more so your bed, because you're in your bed for anywhere from 6 to 8 hours. So in my opinion, it's that is one of the keys to maintaining the health of your posture.
Firm?
It just depends on your body type, and it depends on your sleeping position too. So these are the things that can cause problems with your posture, for instance. And then that goes, that I guess you could relate that back to the couch. Don't sleep on your couch. Probably not the best place in the world to sleep.
How about crossing your legs?
Probably not going to sleep like that's not a good idea either.
But if you're just sitting there and you cross your legs?
Yes, for a minimum amount of time.
Okay,
yes.
Not forever, just
no, that would
crossed for
that
a
would
minute.
be a repetitive stress on the body that could create problems with the body. So it's not never good to do something too often, like crossing your legs, or I tell patients don't sleep on their stomachs. That can cause problems with your posture, your spine, your nervous system.
Really, that's the only position that you recommend against.
In the sleeping position.
In
yes.
the sleeping position.
Yes, I definitely recommend that. And it goes back to if you're sitting for hours and hours on end in any position, it's not a good thing. And that's why most patients who have 9 to 5 jobs that are in front of the computer all the time, they're going to experience a lot of different symptoms. That's why it's essential to get up and move around.
And stretch, yeah.
And stretch, move around. Just movement is the key to staying healthy. And our audience right now, the seniors that are watching this, I think that's one of the messages I like to impart is really focus on keeping your body moving via exercise or chiropractic care. Just keep moving around.
Dr. Aranabar, thank you so much. I enjoyed our visit today, and I hope we've educated the people, and I hope you see some of them too.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today for Senior Moments. I'm Dolly Simonovich, and I'll see you next time.